Okay, let's ask one quick question. We're back from a break.
Hello.
We had something to eat. I had some amazing miso soup.
It was amazing.
It was gorgeous.
Carnitas and shrimp earlier, and it's talking to me.
It's talking to that toilet.
No more pork. I can't.
We spoke about 1992 LA riots. Santino was not here at that time.
Either was today.
So,
right, I was not here.
Okay, so how does it feel for you guys to see that then on TV to now see it again in person and actually be part of it? Santino.
Well, I didn't even see it on TV. I only found out about it probably years after. Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 36, but I was in the Philippines and we didn't really get enough coverage about it.
It wasn't important to them.
Well, no, that's not true.
That, but it's just
okay.
There's no. I guess because back then we didn't have. You'd have to have cable to get programming from here, and back I think '92.
They just really didn't have the communications at that time.
Yeah,
we weren't a global community yet.
Yeah.
We were barely AOLing.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now, seeing it?
Am I wrong?
No. Being here in Long Beach, which you've quoted to be real cultural and diverse, and
yeah, but just because I wasn't aware of it back then doesn't mean that, because back home we also experienced the same kind of thing. Not
you mentioned that.
It's not because of the same thing, but
right.
It's just everywhere. Like protests, it's like an everyday thing for us, and exposure.
Can we talk about how not only the black community has been slaves though, because Filipinos have been slaves, Puerto Ricans have been slaves, even Asians have been slaves.
Yep.
So I think people need to be reminded that, because there were camps for all of them.
And Asians also helped build the fucking railroad system.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The original Black Panthers back in the day, one of their movements was
were
to fight
alive,
against the Asian Exclusion
know.
Act. You know,
Right.
one of their demands was to allow open immigration to happen again,
my bad.
because stop discriminating against all communities, not only
Right.
the black community but all communities.
But I think that's why people don't want to listen to black people either, because we're like, okay, we're going to fight our fight, but we've always recognized other people's oppression.
yes,
Right.
Always.
yes.
Like, you can go to a black establishment, come on, baby, sit down here and eat.
Okay.
You go to a white establishment, and you might not make it out the
Do
building.
you have a reservation? But how do you feel being
Did
in the
you,
middle of it?
Santino, move from the Philippines to Long Beach?
Yeah. Well,
Straight from...
I've
Oh, well.
only been here. It's gonna be 6 years since September.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
In the
Welcome.
In the U.S.
How does that feel to be, like, a trans immigrant?
I feel lucky. I mean, I feel lucky enough because actually moving here allowed me to begin my transition. Because back home it's not.
Right.
Well, it exists, but it's so expensive. We didn't have medical insurance. You only get it through your job, but it's not nearly as. It's not close enough, like to how much you get from here. Like over there, it's still.
It's out of reach.
It's
Did your whole
exist.
family
Exists,
move with
but
you?
it's not
Or-
something.
It exists, but it's out of reach. Yeah.
My dad is here, but I moved here
Go
to
lucky
get
you.
married.
You moved here to get married?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which you can hear about at Trans Talk Pride Edition, now on YouTube.
That is correct.
That is correct.
What was that? Pride's Talk?
Trans Talk Pride Edition
Oh.
on YouTube
On
under Little Latin Born Address. Or
I've never
Juan
heard of that
Martinez.
platform, YouTube.
Trans immigrant.
Yes.
How does it even feel to hear that? Because for me, that's fucking new. How does it feel for you to even hear that?
As terminology.
As terminology.
As nomenclature.
Yeah, as a label.
It's. I don't know.
Really?
I don't add a stigma to it. It's just the reality.
It
I
is
am
what it
trans
is.
and
Yeah.
I'm an immigrant.
I hear it. I hear it.
That's it.
Intersexual.
But then again, I think it also plays a like my being white passing kind of plays a part to it because I don't really get as much of a difficult time compared to other trans immigrants because I've never had any issues. I've never been discriminated against. Unfortunately, I've heard some negative comments that weren't always directly towards me for being trans, but
were about trans people around you?
About trans people around me, yes. But personally, I've been lucky enough, or I've been privileged enough is probably the right term, because I know that my appearance plays a big part in that one, which is a sad reality.
It is a sad reality, but when I grew up in San Clemente, I'm the first open gay black lesbian. You know, I'm not on ASB, but I'm singing in the choir. I'm doing all these things. Like I'm showing love from the get-go. And that's been very fortunate with my privilege of me not having a tragic story.
That's how we met, actually.
Yeah, and people in San Clemente fought for me. They fought for me to take my girlfriend to prom. And that gave me strength later. Once I learned how to protest, then I was like, oh, I can stand up for other people just as well as they stood up for me. And that actually saved my life. And I've actually been able to thank them for that. And we still talk today. Yeah.
Speaking of protest, we went to the sit-in, and I want you to speak to how another protest merged with our sit-in, and how that evolved.
Yeah. Well, I want to just say that I really appreciate the two individuals who did create that space for us to go to. I wouldn't have gone unless I felt that it was a reputable event to go to, you know? And so I went, and I did show up a little late, so there was a little talking that happened that I might have missed, but I get in.
No, we arrived together. And
Yeah,
You were
so-
there at the
but you guys were all waiting for me when I showed up, you know?
Yeah.
nothing that happened.
Nothing
Okay,
happened.
so we go up and the guy starts talking about like love, and he wants everyone to repeat these words, and it's like
Unity.
love, peace, happiness, joy, laughter. Da-da. And I'm like, I'm not repeating any of this because I'm like, where is this going? You know? And it was just kind of like this very disconnected event that felt like we're just, yes, we're trying to be peaceful. I don't know. It just was really weird. And then we go into this meditation and then this quiet time for 30 minutes.
No, it was quiet time for an hour and a half.
I didn't even realize
then
it was that
meditation.
long. Oh, shit. Okay, so...
That was what the problem was.
And I just was sitting there and I was feeling like feels... Like, I like the idea, but it feels very disjointed. Like, what are we even doing? We're being quiet. I had my sign. But, like, I didn't
Why are
really
we
know what
sitting?
to say. Yeah, it was
Why
just
are we
very...
just sitting
and why
at-
are we being quiet, you know?
Yes.
Right.
And then meditation time was over, and I was expecting some type of commentator, some type of speaker to come up, and then it's
He
like...
had kind of opened it up.
And
to
then it's
the
like, just
seminar.
talk amongst yourselves, like connect, we're all community here.
And
And then in an hour we'll
meditation.
meditate. And I'm like, what is this? And so
It was.
my two friends were like, we're gonna go get ice cream, do you want a popsicle? I'm like, yes, please.
Because
And,
we were legit bored.
Yeah, it was like,
really-
what's the
there
point
was
of us
no
being
motivation.
here?
Right.
You
There
know,
was
like
no focus.
I didn't really understand. There was no focus, there was no intent. They never spoke about black people. They never spoke about
The movement.
Yeah, the movement, Black Lives Matter, police brutality. They never spoke about why we're here, why we're meditating, why we're focusing on love, peace, happiness, joy, laughter, da-da-da. And then these two righteous black women come into the crowd, and I saw this crowd forming on the outskirts, on the street, and...
I'll be honest,
then-
I left because I saw them coming.
okay. Oh, wow.
Because I was there to sit in and be peaceful.
And I feel like if we were to have a sit-in, it would have been more impactful if we went to the place where people in power were. And we show up
Right.
at City Hall, and we sit out in the lobby, and we're very peaceful, we chant, we meditate,
Amen to
but
that.
we're there, we have a purpose, like, oh shit, where did these 100 people, 200 people, 300 people show up at? You know, oh, here they all are sitting down being peaceful. That would have been much more impactful than just like, let's go to the bluff where we always do yoga
And sit
and,
and
do
chill
the, and do
and
the
chill
same
out.
thing.
To
you
me,
know?
it felt like a reunion for the yoga people.
It was like we haven't seen each other in so many years, like
They
or
allowed
so
us
many
to come
months or
out,
whatever.
let's sit and talk to each other.
And so these women
Yeah.
come over and they start chanting and they start saying like, remember, white silence is violence. You're like,
Right.
what are you guys doing here? You're just being quiet. You're just doing nothing. And I was like, we are sitting here doing nothing. Like it resonated with me, and I
Right.
immediately picked up my blanket, folded up, grabbed my sign, and went and joined the protest, and was like, let's let our voices heard. And it was still a very peaceful protest, but it was a loud protest. And it doesn't necessarily have to be quiet to be peaceful. We don't have to be subdued and please listen to me. No, listen to me. I have something to say. I'm not being violent, but this is what I have to say right now. And so like it made me feel good, like to actually go out and like use my little voice to amplify other messages.
The other young lady.
Yeah.
The other group. I felt like a sitting duck. Like I could have been shot.
You know, and that's a fear that comes with it, because the thing that I've
But
been at several
like you said, we
protests.
weren't sitting at City Hall.
Yeah.
We weren't sitting like in the 60s, 70s in a restaurant where we weren't even allowed to eat or order fucking water. Like that was a proper sit-in.
There's no statement about it.
Exactly. There was no statement.
There was no,
And if you're trying to teach people how to meditate, you still haven't created a vibration.
Yeah, and like these same people have created new experiences, and like I feel like they new protests, and I feel like they've taken what they've learned from the first one, realized that they had shortcomings, and they've done better. Like we're holding space. They have more of a mission. Like we're holding space for Black people. We're holding space for inclusivity. Like please come and join this space. Blah blah blah. It's more of a statement of why they're there than let's just all be here and meditate. You know, like there's actually
some
a purpose.
people can't march. Some people can't be out there doing that, and some people truly are afraid.
Yeah.
I was terrified the next day when we cleaned up. You know what I mean? Like I think I told you, like I felt super guilty. I got dirty looks. You know, people looking at me like I'm like, fuck.
It's your fault. That's what you told me.
Y'all think that this is my fault? That we sleep in the glass? I'm like, hello. And it doesn't have to be that treacherous to like stand up for someone else. We didn't cause the looting.
Let's make that clear.
That was very organized criminal activity.
It was opportunist.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same point, it was just another element that wasn't necessarily our element.
Right.
I want to talk about like that Sunday. From my perspective, the antagonistic, like, so we're all out there, we're protesting, we're saying our voice. They admitted that they did not expect as many people to show up as they showed up. We showed up in force, and they got scared. And the county of LA put a mandatorium of 8 p.m. And so we all get this thing 8 p.m. Like, okay, so we have a couple hours to go coordinate. Honestly, at that point, I'm like, okay, I had shit to do. I didn't realize it was going to last as long as, like, I was kind of naive to it, you know? And so, like, I wanted to go home, put in a load of wash for my day the next day, eat some food because I was hungry, and then I wanted to go back and catch the speeches and stuff.
Right.
And so as we're walking, me and my friend are walking away, 15 minutes later, we get another notice that they changed it from 8 to 6 o'clock. That was in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
In 30 minutes. They shut down our voice, and we weren't done talking. There are thousands of people out there. We're all talking. We're all energized peacefully, just shouting, doing our thing, you know what I mean? Having our voices heard. And they're like, okay, this is too much. Shut the fuck up. You gotta go home.
This was the first protest.
And then all of a sudden, at 6 o'clock, they start firing the bullets, they start firing tear gas, and people erupt into violence. And then an hour later, it's televised on TV, and then truckloads of people start showing up and amplify that violence. And it was crazy to watch. Like, it really was.
They were slow on the draw. You should have believed in the movement and protected the people. And the businesses, if we're talking about that. You 2 blocks out on your police motorcycle. Well, how come you're not at the pike? Because we're actually up here.
Last question. How did you, Josh Krantz, feel as and Mark, a cis white male marching with people of color?
Well, the biggest thing I wanted to do was learn. I wanted to hear the voices. I wanted to hear, what was being said. And I wanted to also be a part of it and support them no matter what was said, because I knew it was an important movement that had to happen, because this is continuing to happen. We've seen police brutality over and over again. And it's important to me that, like, my friends of people of color, whether they're trans or not, or cis, are being heard.
And how does this affect you personally?
How does what? The Black Lives
This
Matter
whole
movement?
madness.
I mean, it's really woken me up to my privilege. It's really made me understand everything I've experienced has essentially been normal in the sense of the word. You know, like I don't know how it feels to be trans. I don't know how it feels to be black. You know,
But you have been a victim because of what?
Right.
I've been a victim of looting.
Yes.
Correct.
Well,
That's just what I'm trying to get at.
That always kind of makes me feel guilty
can
when I
ask me
talk
that.
about looters.
That's why I asked how do
knowing
we
that you're a
It's
victim
not
of
really
looting.
related.
It is not unrelated because
Not really related.
So
you're there supporting us.
And you become your shop becomes victimized.
right. So
You have to feel some type of way.
I
The
do.
two-
So my mom has owned a jewelry store for the past 30 years, right? It's called JL Jewelry, and it's always been in my life. Like growing up, it's always been a thing. There's always been a business my mom has built, and she started in 1991, and I was 6 years old. Okay, and in '92, the store was hit by the Rodney King riots, right? And her store was so far away from like the riots downtown. You know, it's by the traffic circle. It was the only store hit like out of nowhere, and it actually burned. Like she had just opened the store
Damn.
in '91, and they lit it on fire. So it was destroyed. Like she had just built this business up. She just started her first business, and they burned it to the ground essentially, right?
This is why it's relevant because
And she had to literally rebuild her business when she first opened, you know, and she questioned her own self, like, what am I doing here? You know, should I be doing this? Should I be opening a jewelry store? You know, and because at that point, being first open, she realized I'm a target, and I always will be a target. You know, and she rebuilt. It was still her passion. She wasn't gonna quit. So she reopened the store. They, obviously fixed everything. They painted the walls. They repaired the fire damage, all these things, and reopened, right? And then it's been hit a couple times after that. But
now you as an adult, like,
and so I remember walking through the store and seeing the fire damage. I remember one of the corners was just black because these huge flames were in the corner. And as a child, I thought like, wow, this is really weird and bad. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know why.
Right.
You know? And I could see my mom in tears, and she was hurt. And, and there was just like a really weird experience because I was very young. I was 6, And so but what I did see in her, even as a small child, I remember seeing a very strong woman. It was still her passion. It was still something she wanted to do. She loved her community, and she has till this day. She loves Long Beach. She was born in Long Beach, and so she fought through it. She did it. She did the damn thing. She rebuilt her store, and it's been successful for 30 years. Because she is that person that has, been
a heart.
Been a heart in the city and has continued to do it. So yes, we were hit again with these riots, and it was all again heartbreaking. There was not as much damage as the Rodney King riots. So we were, able to rebuild a little quicker. We're still not fully open. But my mom, I've heard her tell this story over and over again. Because customers are always asking, what happened? How much did you lose? How much jewelry? It's like, for whatever reason, they're so invested in like what you lost, like what really went on, and they don't really understand that there's a bigger picture here. And it's like, huh?
There's pain.
There's a lot of pain, yeah. But I hear my mom tell this story, and she doesn't ever erase the Black Lives Matter protest movement. She understands this had nothing to do with these protesters. My mom has grown to be a completely open-minded, loving woman, understanding gay and trans lives. She's built a relationship with Thadeo, and she...
Little Mama Krantz.
She's an amazing woman.
Being aware enough to know that the looters are not the...
She knows that, and so, but the thing is that like maybe she didn't think that the first time during the Rodney King riots, because this was a new thing, and she sees her
scary.
store being attacked, and it's terrifying,
Absolutely
so
scary.
she's grown from 92 to 2020. Is that where you're in? Yeah. And she's aware that like what's going on now is more important than her store being hit, and every jewelry store in Long Beach was hit. It was essentially like
Ooh, the one on Pine got
Google.com jewelry store. You know, and she saw 23 people
Schneider.
rushing through her store
Dave Schneider.
and destroying the place and trying to get things. But she builds the store back up, you know, because that's what matters. She's not gonna shut down. She's not gonna, you know, she's gonna.
She's a beast.
But that shows resilience.
It shows
of Long
resilience,
Beach.
right? Exactly. It shows her love for her community. You know, she knew that these people came in from out of city or out of state even and attacked our city. You know, and that's what hurts her more is that like Long Beach was hit. You know,
Right.
and
Her home was hit.
Her home was hit, and her store was hit. Our family business was hit.
Am I allowed to ask? Because someone started a GoFundMe to assist in their repair.
One of her best friends hit my sister up and was like, "What can we do?"
Right.
You know, and my sister literally was just like, "Well, there's a huge insurance deductible for this damage. Start a GoFundMe."
I only bring this up
And-
because it's about community. So
and
this
in
is how the
15
community
minutes,
responded.
they created the GoFundMe page, right? And within 4 hours, actually it was like 3.5, whatever, they hit their goal of 5,000. The goal was 5,000,
Fantastic.
right? But it went on to almost $10,000.
Yeah.
You know, like it, and she, when she heard that the page was created, she broke down in tears. And I remember I was like on the phone in the front, and I could see her in my coworker's arms like bawling, and I'm like, oh God, what now? Like what happened? You know, but she's crying out of like love. She could feel her friends, her community, Long Beach, like actually helping her for once, you know, and everyone came together to help us through
Because she's
so-
helped us.
Because
Yeah.
she's given a lot back.
She really has.
And that's what I told her on the phone.
Right.
I said, please don't take it personal. I will pray with you right
This
now
is
for
not us.
safety.
Yeah.
But your community is here for you, and we will make sure that we get you back on your feet.
Right, and she feels that. Believe me, like it's obviously been a roller coaster, and we're still not over it. The store's still boarded up. You know, there's no jewelry out in the cases yet. Like it's a journey, but she's a very strong woman. She can get through everything. I mean, we all can. You know,
Right.
but as a small business owner in Long Beach, she understands the importance. I mean, she wasn't the only small business hit, so
Yeah.
she
Right.
knows that. You know, it's not. She wants to help those businesses too. You know, she has other obviously small business
That's the
owner
best
friends.
part about her. Is she would lend a hand.
She's lending a hand to them too. So
Okay, this is a real question. Last question. Do you feel pressure to be at the protest? Have you felt pressure, or with what you spoke to the other night? Who should be allowed to initiate a gathering or a chant, or who should shout louder than the next? Santino.
I do feel pressured, but it's mostly me pressuring myself because I actually have not been to a protest this time, but it's mostly because it's
Work.
personal reasons.
I know that.
And on social media, I do see like some friends that are kind of close to being self-righteous that are basically forcing people to join the movement in ways that they think should be done. Like everyone can support the movement in their own ways. Pressure definitely is there, but I still feel that there are a lot of different ways to help the movement aside from joining.
Which, you know, and which Santino has, you
With
know,
the masks.
making Black Lives
Absolutely.
Matter mask, you know, and it's just about, I'm gonna just quote Porter Gilbert, I'm following their lead.
Absolutely.
Wherever they're marching, that's where I'm marching. If they ask me a question or to speak, then I'll speak. You know, and that's what it is. It's about listening first and then figuring out what to do next.
Because there are already leaders of the movement.
Absolutely.
You don't need to move into a leadership role.
And
But
that's
we
what
have to
was-
keep it
so like
organized,
Jonathan's
though.
point.
Yeah, like my point was like to be proper allies. You know what I mean? And like
Right.
proper allyship is to amplify the voices that are not being heard properly or whatever, using your small voice to amplify their voice. And so when I go to the protests, I feel like it's important for me not to initiate chants. It's like when I hear a chant, I just repeat it. I try to amplify that chant, but it's like I'm not trying to center it about me or about what I think is important. It's about the movement and what they felt is important. So whatever
the words that are important.
whatever they're saying, I will repeat and I will amplify. I feel like that's my purpose there. But to go to like, should I organize or not? I feel like if I am sitting on the sidelines and maybe like there's not enough organization happening, maybe it would be appropriate for me to step up and start organizing because it's not happening. But
Right.
if it's still happening, then it's best to like amplify the voices that
But
are
but I think to
big in the
step
movement.
forward and organize would really mean to contact the movement.
And listen.
whoever
Yeah,
at the core of
and
the
like,
movement and say,
what
how
should I
can
do?
help?
What
Yeah.
what should be
Absolutely.
next? I agree with that, and it's also like, just as a side note, like a way that we can stand up and have a mini protest of just our own is just when we ever experience racism or something that we're uncomfortable with happening. It's important for us to speak up and to amplify what is happening. It's also like to take the pressure off of the person experiencing the racism.
Correct.
And to validate their experience, like, hey, you're being racist, you know, now that person's validated, and then just whatever you want to say about that, it's like kind of saves, like, if there's a woman in the store who's being discriminated against, she's a black woman, and like you stand up for her and you get loud and you speak up, it's like, it gives her the opportunity not to be the stereotypical angry black woman. You know what
Correct.
I mean? You're using your whiteness and your privilege in a
Your
way that
passing.
amplifies her, but like in a way, and then when they start to speak up or they want to say something, if you say something they don't agree with, and like, again, support whatever they're saying. Even if in that moment you're like, oh, that's not, well, yeah, like whatever they're saying, you're that was your point, was to give them their voice, and now that they took their voice, back it up, no matter what happens to be at
Yeah.
the moment.
Let humanity stand up for humanity. You know, we have to think about the Underground Railroad.
No.
It wasn't just, you know, the black people running, you know, against the moon. Like, there were people who actually cared and helped.
Yeah.
And I
What was
think
the word you used earlier?
abolitionists,
Abolition.
I think that we need to remember that we need help as humans.
Yeah.
And then you don't feel so guilty for not speaking up, and then you don't feel so bad because it happened to you.
Or
Yeah.
so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's like they say, citizens united can never be divided.
That's
It's
it.
all coming
One of the
together
chains.
against that one goal, that one entity of white supremacy, the system, the whatever you choose to call it. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That's
all
the
about
basis of
standing
this
up.
whole movement.
Yeah, we need to all come together.
Citizens
It's
united
enough is
can
enough.
never be divided.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, our leaders in this country are literally dividing us. So
Yeah.
it's a fight
And
against
that is an act of terrorism.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I just wanted to step back real quick to like the way that I just wanted to clarify, like sometimes when it's like, when is it appropriate to step forward or step not? You know, it's like, if it was a gay issue, if they're attacking that person because they're gay, would I want some straight person to stand up for me in that moment? Yes, I would. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, well, I'm like, hey, you're
That would
just
be
saying that because of that
amazing.
reason, and then I'm like, yeah, that's why. You know, it's like the same when you're someone's being discriminated against race. It's like, hey, like let me stand up and like, you know, like it's,
Yeah, I see you being racist
yeah,
and
that's not
homophobic.
right. Yeah, this person's feeling little because of what you're saying right now, and that's not appropriate. You know, like you're, yeah. So,
Well, to your point, to organizing something that with significance, that's maybe not what's going on now. Today, what did we see?
all the skaters.
Skaters.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was beautiful.
So good,
Yo,
so
Okay.
skateboarders in Long Beach, that was
What's
dope.
up?
Hella
was so
dope,
good.
because we were coming home from a lovely picnic that we had, and
That was so cute.
Yeah,
and
it
we were like,
was.
oh shit,
And
is
we-
this another march? It was like approaching us.
it was like 300 skateboarders.
No, it
Skateboarders.
was way more than 300.
It
but
was
it was just like there.
Insane.
It wasn't just like a march. You could see like them moving. You
And
know,
you
and it was
could
like,
hear
oh,
the
they're all on
wheels.
skates.
Skateboarders
They're all
are fast.
skateboards. They're all
They're
bikes
fast.
and
You
shit.
heard that before you saw them.
But that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So cool.
Yeah.
Acceleration of progression.
Yeah.
You know, skateboarders get a lot of shit for defacing property.
Especially in this town.
They're just expressing themselves, but they rallied together and they stood
That was
out
really
as
cool.
one entity.
Yeah.
I
It
was
was
like,
a lot of
it
white
was
people.
great.
It was
a
gold.
majority white. It was honestly like
which is
travesty.
very rare.
It was
And
very rare.
That also like kind of like hypes me up
Yes.
because like what they say is like racism won't be solved because a whole bunch of white people view racism as like, I'm so sorry, racism's happening to these black folk. I don't know what to do. Racism's happening to these black folk. I feel so bad for them. Oh my god. racism isn't a black person issue. It's a white person issue.
So
white people have racism. Black people don't.
self-accountability.
So until we recognize as racism being a white mental deficiency, mental some type processing
aggression,
thing,
like that will start to change.
Until we recognize it and start calling out other white people, white passing people, whatever. I'm including myself in that category because all my life I've been roped into it.
Right.
Which also is a whole other topic about erasing like this whole entity that I have. But like, and people want to like, don't you want to be white? And it's like, well, my whole life people told me that I
what
wasn't,
does that
you know what I
mean?
It's like so weird.
System.
It is. It's
What
a
does
system of
want to
oppression.
be white
Levels of
mean?
oppression.
What does that mean?
Can I ask another question? Because
No, you're done.
if
Pause.
no, it irritates me when whoever we are speak properly, eloquently, and are educated.
Manners.
And have fucking manners, like I just did not have, but that's identified as being white.
Yeah, being proper. It's like being white.
It's
yeah.
annoying as fuck.
To have manners.
No, for one black person to tell another black person you're trying to be white just because you
Or you're
are
not black
more
enough.
educated, you speak properly, you have fucking manners, you're not about to go be a looter.
Or no, not
Well, it's
that.
not
but
even
just
like
like
that
you're not-
clear.
I don't get it. No, he's
No,
right.
it is.
Yeah,
No,
right,
he's
yeah.
100% right because as a child,
Well, the word ghetto
But that also
defines.
means like people who
is
don't
the
necessarily speak as
biggest-
eloquently
As
aren't
a
as
child,
classed.
I'm ghetto, but I
Listen.
still know when to turn my eloquence on and off.
when you're a
Needs to
child
brighten up.
and you're shopping
time and
with
fucking
your
place.
parents, and a white person turns to both your parents for two reasons: is that your son?
Why are you even asking?
Are you? Is that your dad? Because my brother has blue eyes and he's blacker than an ace of spades. We fallen in the line. We're respectful. You know, we're kind. We're loving. You know, giving children. Oh, your kids are so well behaved. Bitch, stop.
Well, what do you expect them to be?
Hold on.
Right.
We raised your kids because your kids, your mama is your mammy.
Running them up.
So what are you talking about that we aren't able to be civilized?
Right. But that statement alone that woman said is so fucking insulting. What she's saying is she expects your
Yeah.
the
Oh,
kids
I
to be
cannot
running them
believe
up.
your kids are so well behaved.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What?
It's like you're
That's
not fault.
the epitome of systematic
What are you
racism.
talking about?
Say, oh,
That-
why
that's
aren't
what
yours?
that's the meaning of systemic racism, and
Oh, why?
it
Are
starts
yours?
from our history books. You
When
know,
was the last time you
It's
took a
in-
shower?
Part of the
It's
system.
in-
it's a part of the system. Yeah.
Taking up the bar.
It's embedded.
And that is like bathing and hygiene. That's all from black people. That's all from the Moors. Brought into
We try to be
Muslim
clean.
Moors came
Yes.
into fucking Europe and
Asians.
taught Europe how to be clean, how to bathe, mathematics, all this shit. You know, and
Dental.
all these things that these people are trying to take credit for did not come from them. They were in the Dark Ages. Catholicism ruined their memories, ruined their da da da. And here comes these black Moors into Europe and brought civilization back.
Just stop
Brought
trying to say
civilization.
we haven't been here since the beginning.
Right, but that needs to be told over
That
and over
part.
again.
So, like, I will bring someone into the conversation. Like Bond said, he had a wonderful idea. The White House is our house, and it should be a museum. And it should be turned into all of the black influences, and all those pictures should be in that house that we can go into and see our contribution as a nation.
Yeah.
They can move on out of there.
And
Yeah.
Barack Obama's picture should be.
Black lives
What?
occupy the White
Yeah.
House.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What do you mean? No.
That is the most
Trump
biggest
canceled his hanging.
insulting-
Trump canceled the
His
hanging
presidential
of-
hanging.
He sure did,
Every president will hang the past president's
and he will not do it.
portrait in the White House, and Trump refused to hang Barack.
Yeah.
They can move on out of there.
And
Yeah.
Barack Obama's picture should be.
Black lives
What?
occupy the White
Yeah.
House.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What do you mean? No.
That is the most
Trump
biggest
canceled his
insulting.
Trump canceled the
His
hanging
presidential
of-
hanging.
He sure did,
Every president will hang the past president's
and he will not do
portrait
it.
in the White House, and Trump refused to hang Barack's portrait.
Good.
What do you
I'm
mean
glad.
good?
Because it just shows even more
How much of a fucking
Piece of
douchebag
shit.
he
what a
is.
piece
Oh
of
my god.
shit
And the
he
thing
is.
is that people
The
won't
proof. I see what you're saying. The
The
proof.
proof.
The proof of it.
Just the
But do we need
proof
any more
of it.
proof?
Oh, no.
No.
But they need proof.
He's getting away with it again.
True.
But
Half
they
his staff
agree
was
with him
fired.
to not hang the painting. That's the problem.
When
hang
your
the
taxpayers
fucking
paid the fucking
staff was fired.
Did they not
person who just
hang
got
it, or did
killed.
they just not hold a ceremony for the hanging?
I don't know. I feel like
didn't hang it.
they didn't hang it at all.
I feel like they
That's the
hanged
last
it, but
thing
they
I
just
read.
didn't have a
No,
ceremony.
he said he wasn't going to hang it.
Oh,
The
that's
last thing I read was he was
craziness.
not going to
That's
even
crazy.
hang it.
Yeah. Oh, you wait.
This president is absolutely
You
bizarre.
bonkers.
He's so bizarre.
Just
so
off.
bizarre.
Just so off. Like we really lived through Bush and thought he was
That
a
was the worst.
shit
Nuclear,
fucking
you know what I
person.
mean?
Yeah, and it was like,
But Bush
you
got
are,
some-
but god damn, this is worse.
I'm still very sensitive to both sides of the story because he still has some damn sense. Yeah, they're guilty in a lot of things, but even Bush can look at you and be like, that didn't make no kind of sense.
Okay.
He's not an idiot. I mean, like, we get it, yeah, y'all flubbed up and whatever, but you know what? You gonna look and say this is not happening, and then you don't show any respect.
Yeah, like
Why?
I have to give it to Mitt Romney. Like I have a lot more respect for him than I ever had before.
Out there.
Just in the sense that he's going against his party and he's speaking his truth. And he's like, Black lives fucking matter. And marching with these people. He's like a conservative Christian, and he realizes that because he holds his values dear, that it doesn't go with his values because he actually believes in what he believes in. You know?
Yes,
But-
and if you really
and I respect
believe,
that.
I agree with that statement 100%, then you go out there and you be with the people because your Christian belief is about taking care of the people.
Yeah.
Our government is not
We're all
about
brothers
that.
and sisters.
You know what I
like,
mean? So it just it's crazy.
and bears.
Let's end on that. We're all brothers
And
and
sisters.
sisters.
We're all
Cheers.
siblings. We're all
But
siblings.
we don't have any alcohol in our cups.
It's all right.
Cheers to water, to imaginary.
Yes.
Well, cheers to feeling
All Black Lives